Hello, Singapore. Hello, Malaysia. We are about to go into it. Welcome, everybody, to NFT Malam. Hello, everybody. This is Vessi Mink coming to you live from NFT Malam. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be starting just shortly with our two special guests, AJ Goodwin and Richard from Betamax, Mr. Richard Atkins. We are live on YouTube, Facebook, all over the place. We are live with you on LinkedIn. We are live with you on Twitter. We are live in Malaysia. We are live in Singapore. On behalf of NFT Malam Singapore, we'd love to thank everyone for joining us today for our fourth in real life and virtual event. On behalf of NFT Malam Singapore, don't forget to smash that YouTube follow button and click the notification option to always know when NFT Malam Singapore is going live, which at this time is every Thursday. We want to give a big shout out to our Rockstar restaurant sponsor, Singapore's new NFT hotspot, bringing it to you live from the epic tasty Gaijin Izakaya with our epic innovators at the helm, Mr. BK Han, Mr. Sean McCulley, and Mr. Mike Chua. Now check it out, Malaysia Hotpot, Red Hotpot in Malaysia. What's up, Malaysia in the house? Soon we're going to be in Australia and also in your country. Get on board, guys. NFT Malam is taking over the world. We want to give a big shout out to everybody out there. Don't forget to follow us, and also please do share and chat with us. The first drink is on the house from 7 to 8:30, brought to you by Sean McCulley of Gaijin Izakaya. Also, everyone will receive 10% off the menu for every event. Tasty finger food brought to you by Mr. Mike Chua of Fanfare. Yum, yum. Metaverse Generation jeans, wearable NFTs brought to you by Min Kwan and BK Han of TSA NFT Incubator and Metaverse Generation. There will be 10 lucky winners who will receive this offer at the offline event. The amazing presentation book by Mr. Tian Tech of Sticky Spy Presentations, one lucky winner of this ebook, and also one book on the offline event. Bhutan Travelogue by Joni Harrison, 2 lucky winners for the books and 2 for the t-shirts. The Scream Metacar NFT Model, 1 white by Mr. Gordon Young of Scream Metacar NFT, 20 lucky winners at the offline event. The Lasting Last Supper NFT by Alvindo of Artas, 10 lucky winners at the offline event. Please ensure you sign in and register at the Google Sheet and that your MetaMask wallet is connected. If you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry, we'll help onboard you. After all, we are moving into Web3 and this is the metaverse. And I'll say it again, don't forget to smash that YouTube button and stay in touch with us. Thank you again. And handing it over to the one and only, where did he go now? Mr. BK Han, where are you? Here you are. Look at this. And we are live at Gaijin Izakaya.
Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. Welcome to NFT Malam, Singapore, Malaysia, and soon Australia. So we are here on our fourth session. We have finished 3 sessions already. We're going ahead with the 4th one today, and we're happy to have 2 speakers with us, Betamax and AJ. We're looking forward for this, and yeah, let's go ahead with the speaker session. Bessie, the mic back to you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, BK. We'll see you guys in a minute. All right. So I'm going to introduce to you right now somebody, this amazing, amazing human being. His name is AJ Goodwin with Waterfall Music. Hi, AJ. How are you today? Welcome to NFT Malam. I'd like to welcome our San Diego artist, also known as AJ. He's the CEO, co-founder of an environmental record label called Waterfall Music. And he's also the chief archivist and executive director to the Paul Lloyd Warner Foundation for Peace, Love, and Wisdom, a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to protecting the oceans and inspiring millions through powerful music inspired by nature. The mic is yours, AJ. Thank you again for being with us.
Well, hello, everyone. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. It's such a pleasure to be here and my honor to share some of my insights and my wisdom and some of the little things that I've learned along my path. You know, question to all of you. Did you know that the scientists on the planet, they've all agreed that 50 to 80% of the oxygen of our Earth's atmosphere comes from microscopic phytoplankton. And these are tiny little creatures that are smaller than grains of sand. They absorb the carbons out of the air. We have become a carbon-based planet. Carbons have been here since the beginning of time. And we now, taking the gook out of the earth and making oil and gas and plastics and rubbers and all the things that give us the power to travel the planet and to do all the wonderful things that we are as humans today. Of course, a lot of the trees and the plants and that they are absorbing the carbons, yet the largest amount of it is coming from the oceans and places on the planet, the rivers, the estuaries, and that pump huge amounts of water. The inlets to the oceans are completely decimated. And again, these microscopic creatures are the first to die off. And we have to think about that, because the surface layer of the ocean teeming with these photosynthetic plankton, they're smaller than grains of sand. They're invisible to the naked eye. They produce more oxygen than the redwoods and even the oldest growth forests on the planet. The oldest growth forest, like in South America, that's about 20% of our valuable oxygen. So what I have become over the years, as I've been co-producing Paul Lloyd Warner, is I would travel with him. We would go to the finest art shows here in North America, and we would sell his beautiful music inspired by whales and dolphins and nature. And, people were coming up and they were talking to us about different concerns. Sometimes it was just about maybe something they'd want for their healing. And they found that the piano music inspired by the dolphins actually gave people better intuition. They were able to think more clearly. They were able to go and sleep better. They had a calmer atmosphere around them because of the piano music that was playing. One woman in 1990, she actually came up and she started tapping on the music and saying, "This is the music that saved my life." And I'm going, well, I'm an artist and a sculptor and a painter. I would use the music in the background so that, I can use it for my inspiration. She says, no, this is the music that will save people's lives. She had breast cancer. She was crying in those moments. Her tears were running. She goes, I wish I knew the man that made this music. And I'm like, well, what happened? And she goes, well, I had a family member that everybody was coming by. I had been given chemotherapy. My hair had fallen out. I was withering away. I was dying. Can you imagine? You probably have had family members with situations. Well, Mr. Paul Lloyd Warner's music was playing in the background on the headphones, and she said that it gave her hope. She could understand the music. The music took her on a journey, and she would listen to it over and over and over and over again until she became the music. Now, how does that relate to our lives? Well, each and every one of us, we've heard all different types of music from around the world, and we all have our favorites. Some of us like, pop and rock, and other people like classical, and some people like jazz. Some people like gospel, and on and on and on. Well, what happened in this moment was so revealing to me. 1990, this was now over 30 years ago for me. The very first art show that I did with Mr. Paul Lloyd Warner, setting up a booth, having the cassettes before there was any CDs. It wasn't online. And she was crying, saying, I wish I knew the man that made this music. And I'm like, well, here's Mr. Warner right over here. And he was signing a cassette to another person, and he was hearing it in his ear. And he comes over and, ma'am, are you okay? Are you okay? And the woman dropped to her knees and she started crying. Her makeup was running. And she said, you saved my life. Maestro, you saved my life. And he picked her up and said, ma'am, it wasn't me that saved your life. It was truly your own will to live. And my music, with the grace of God, that inspired me by taking the tone dolphins and slowing them down, finding the same notes on the piano, he was able to go and create beautiful poetic style of music that gave her the inspiration to live. Now, take a moment and just breathe. Think about every breath you take, that up to 40 to 90% of the oxygen, depending on where it's on the planet, is coming from the oceans. And my dear best friend, Paul Lloyd Warner, had given not just one, but thousands and thousands of people amazing experiences through music that was inspired by the oceans, by the whales, and even to write poetry that soon will be into major motion picture. And so why am I speaking about this? Well, I think first of all is that we need to be more aware as conscious human beings on the planet to protect our oceans, protect our waterways, protect our lakes, our rivers, our estuaries. Many of you live next to a body of water. Many of you know what it's like after you have to go to the refrigerator and clean it out. And think about all the pieces of plastic and saran wrap and many of the other things that we as carbon-based planet human beings that are using all these resources are using them up quicker than ever before. Think about this. Did you know that 18 billion, with a B, 18 billion pounds of plastic and trash and pollution are ending up in the oceans every year? That's directly from National Geographic. So we are seeing that there is a rise in ocean acidity and CO2 levels. Now, I was born in 1962. I just turned 60 at the beginning of this year. And one of my greatest inspirations was Jacques Cousteau. Many of you might know him. If you don't, go back and look him up. Go on your phone and look up J-A-Q-U, Jacques Cousteau. He was the one that built the aqualungs, the scuba tanks. And he was one of my greatest teachers as a young boy. My father was the fisherman and also the captain of the big ships. And he would take us out sport fishing with many people. And one day, the crew had their ship that they were not able to use, and they came on our ship with my father and the people there that were fishing, and they had to do certain types of tests and with the water and things like that. And I remember going back home, or before that even, I remember my father saying, young Jay, go over there, you'll learn something. I go, Dad, I don't even know what they're talking about. They're talking French. They're talking another language. He goes, that's okay. You'll go over there. You'll learn something. And so by learning, that means I am listening, I am watching, and I'm also feeling with my heart and my body. We are all made up of water and molecules and different types of energy. And so when I went over there and I was watching them, what I remember is they were testing the water. They were looking at what was in the water at that time, at the locations that we were taking our boat and out fishing. Well, when I came back, we had the underwater adventures of Jacques Cousteau every Sunday. Some of you may know of it. If you don't, you can actually still experience them. All these are on video on YouTube. Well, immediately inside of that, Jacques Cousteau says that there is a problem on the planet. And he says, we're coming to a very large crossroads, and we have to pull together to make sure our species thrives and survives while being respectful of other species, because the world's biggest problem is carbon dioxide. And we're going to suffocate because we are creating so much carbon dioxide. And, you know, he always know him with a red beanie. He's famed for on the ship called the Calypso. And he was an inventor, a filmmaker, and a conservationist. So why am I speaking about him? Because he was one of the first to go under the water to film the reefs and to share what is happening on the inhabitants that we don't see, that we don't know much about. You're up on where you're eating, you're having wonderful seafoods and wonderful foods, you know, to each his own. I eat seafood. I love a good shrimp dish. I love a good fish dish. And what I've found, though, is that we are over consuming quicker than ever before. We have lost fish stocks more than ever before. So we as humanity are in need of many types of foods, and we're now gaining alternative types of foods. Yet we have to understand where it's coming from, because some of these ships that are out there that are overfishing, they are taking not, let's say, 1,000 tons, they're taking 100 tons at a time of fish stock. And did you know that there is a huge amount of it that is bycatch? What happens is that they only want a certain amount of food or a certain amount of fish, and then a portion of that they don't need, so they throw it back in the ocean, dead. So, you know, over the years, as I have experienced this, I worked on a dive boat. I have a background in marine biology, ichthyology, oceanography. I met Paul Lloyd Warner in 1990 at a booth with his piano music, and as it was playing, he had a book that was there called The Oracle of Whales, the story of the whales from their point of view. And it inspired me. And I was looking at, well, gosh, I would love to have some music in the background while I'm doing my art. And at one point I was doing sculptures of whale on the ceiling and out of the side of the wall made out of rubber foam art. And I would have the head sticking out here and the tail sticking out over there. And I would paint a big scene 20, 30 feet long. That was in my youth many years ago, 35 years ago now. Well, when I found out that over all these years that our reefs are having troubles, the overpollution that is the runoff that comes from our cities is so bad that anything that is coming out of those pipes that are underneath the water right in front of your homes, there on the ocean, out many miles, many kilometers, everything is dead. And there are different things that you can research over time. There's one great film. It's called 50 Ways to Save Our Planet. It's on YouTube. It's a documentary. 50 Minutes to Save Our Planet. And it's a very important documentary. So as I speak about that, I think it's important that we are aware and conscious human beings for what we're doing on the metaverse. what we're doing to build our non-fungible tokens, the NFTs, if it's music, different types of visual art that is moving and video, or static art, paintings, poetry, whatever it is, we're now, and all the different other relics that we can co-create for the metaverse. Because we are here as humanity to survive. And by surviving, that means we also have to protect our oceans, protect our inhabitants. We are definitely, I don't know if any of you know it, but like we are under climate change. And just in our lifetime, just in humanity's lifetime, within the last 50 years, not even 100 years, we have seen a rapid rate of change. And we have to be aware of this because now you have children, or you have grandparents and brothers and sisters and mothers and fathers, and yourself to survive. So as we're co-creating this great legacy for the metaverse, let's build it together in a way with awareness and prosperity and with great integrity that gives back to our planet. So if we sell our NFTs, that maybe we know that sometimes we know that our relics are going to sell over and over and over again. Well, we should always have it in perpetuity that, of course, we're going to get paid back as the original artist, and that maybe think of a way that what can you do to give a portion of that money back to a good cause, whatever that may be. If it's to feed the hungry, to protect our oceans, to plant 1 billion trees. We need more trees. Deforestation has happened. I have flown over different parts of the great Northwest of Washington State, which is known for its massive, massive forests up in the North America. And they are, the mountains are shaved clean. It looks like somebody came by with a razor and took the mountain and shaved them. And it takes a minimum of 40 years for these trees to come back, which they will. But in some places they haven't. And the planet, if it's heating up, we need more plants. We need the species that can grow and to create a lot of green plants and trees and bushes. But the old redwoods that have been here since a long, long time, they can only take so many catastrophic events. And human beings have become a new catastrophic event because we need wood. We need resources. Yet what do we have? We have plastics. And you know what they're able to do? The problem with plastics in the oceans is very unique, because when it sits in the ocean for 40, 50, 60, 100 years, it breaks down into microplastics. So what you're eating on the table, you have utensils, you eat with forks, or your plate might be made out of plastic. You eat with a plastic cup. What do? You throw it away. You don't think about it. So what does then the restaurant owner do? You know, the busboy and the people, they go and they take all that, they throw it out in the trash. And then what happens with it? You know, it's always an issue, you know, because we are consumers. Yet, again, we have to be aware that we are over consuming. We have to find ways with the municipalities, the management of the governments, and your cities and your local towns come together with better awareness. Because the more awareness we have, the more conscious we are, the better we become as best friends to each other, and new friends and brothers and sisters to people all around the world. And our children can grow up so that we can have air to breathe. Because how long can you breathe for before you won't be able to survive? Try holding your breath for a couple minutes and see if you survive. Go underwater and hold your breath. How long are you going to survive? Oxygen is your number one thing next to water. So if these are the two things that are some of your most important resources, and then of course food and shelter, we want to make sure that we are, again, conscious, aware human beings to make a difference on the planet. What we have done over the years is we have created a very nice body of work. What I did is since 1990, we put a whole recording studio built into our motor coach. And we traveled to different art shows, festivals, trade shows, fairs, the malls, to parks. And we met millions of people that would pass by and many that came up. And we were able to share with them how we made the music. The first style of music, of course, was still the piano music by Paul Lloyd Warner. Then in the motor coach, I said, hey, why don't we take some of the digital recording equipment and your keyboards, and while we're on tour, when we're done, why don't we have you record? And the question was, well, how can we record if we have to have a generator running in the background? Then it might mess with his thinking. I says, well, why don't we get the deep cycle batteries, which now we can use solar panels, and then we were able to go while we were on tour, finish the art show, and then we would go to like Grand Canyon, Yosemite, the Tetons, the Great Northwest, along the California coast, the Sierras. We went many places all through North America to the most beautiful spots in between our shows. And Mr. Warner was able to go, and we started with one keyboard, and then we stacked up the 4 keyboards together with no mixing, no multi-tracking, no sequencing, no overdubbing, never done. And he was able to conduct, compose, and perform full symphonies live in nature, right at the sites. Now, we could take those rolling rack mounts out of the motor coach. We had a van that toured behind. We could undo the van, and now that van could travel to other places that the very large motor coach could not. And we could be a traveling recording studio wherever we went. And by doing that, the inspiration came through. And with the gift of spirit, God, whatever, however you want to call it, I watched the making and the birthing of some of the greatest new original symphonies, piano music and modern choirs and harp and other instrumentals, all done through multiple keyboards, which now are being scored for the orchestras and your symphonies and your instruments, and are now available for healing, your prosperity, your peacetime, your relaxation, and music that will take you on a journey. I noticed that a lot of music today, there's such a variety. There, every day, Spotify alone gets thousands of new tracks put into their playlists and into just that alone. Apple Music, Spotify, iTunes, you name it. You have probably many over where you live. And what we found is that by us going back to these events, we would say, oh, hey, here's some of the newest recordings. We'd love for you to listen. And here's the collector sets that you can now buy. So as I'm sharing these stories with you, think about how, if you're building NFTs or if you're a collector yourself, when you go home and you look all around your home, look at the things that you've collected, your pictures, some people call them tchotchkes, and things on their desks, something that you found, if it was a beautiful trinket or a treasure, or a sculpture, you have these things that you have collected. Well, now with the metaverse, we're able to have digital art collections from all around the world, and we can have them on the blockchain inside of these ledgers so that we can have a piece of those digital art series. And some of them are for free, some of them are inexpensive, some of them are very, very expensive. And what it's doing for us as musicians and artists is it makes us so that we're like the closest thing that you've had next to going to an art gallery. And instead of buying and using the music from Spotify or from Apple iTunes and that, you're now able to go on to like the OpenSea, and you're able to buy a collection or a track of music that is exactly what you want and that you can be an owner of. Not just a physical product, but now the digital product itself. And so with that, I would like to play some music. I know that you would all, wherever you're at, we could go and play some of that, Vessi. I do have different tracks I could set up, or if you would like to go and play them with me.
AJ, you're amazing. You're amazing. And I'm so enthralled with your share. Coffee D'Ambrosi, are you here with us? I believe Coffee is going to play. I gave her all the links that you sent. AJ, thank you so much for being here. You're just extraordinary. And yes, my goodness, I want to hear so much more from you. Your Twitter handle is Dolphin Guru. Everybody at Dolphin Guru, just remember, follow this amazing human being. And Kafi, if you would please do the honor, and I'm going to unstream myself here.
Sure. So good to see you, AJ. As always, one of my favorite people.
Hello,
One of Metaverse Generation's favorite people, excuse me. One of our favorite people. And so good to see you. Thank you for coming. We're going to stream, I believe, the love song, which so speaks to the message of Paul Lloyd Warner's message to people that he has met around the world, speaks of his message towards the environment, towards saving our planet, towards peace. And so that is what I am going to play today. Let me know if you can hear it, everyone. Is it good?
Now,
Yes, AJ. You wanted to say something?
as you're on, I think the music is playing. It's sort of it's on. It's very light. I hope everybody else can hear it. And this was composed up in the Great Northwest, overlooking the forests and the ocean together, with deep cycle batteries and inverters. And it's about the message of love. I'm not able to hear it. I don't know if anybody else can. It's very light, if anything.
AJ?
Yes, I can hear you clearly. I don't hear the music at all.
That was so gorgeous. What was the title of that song?
That is called The Love Song.
the love song. Can we play another selection, Coffee?
Yeah, I wonder if I can play it from mine because I wonder if it would be much clearer. I'm not for
Yeah,
sure.
so this time, why don't we go to YouTube and I'm going to share this screen. We're going to play a
Perfect.
video. Okay.
Thank you.
I think that would be more effective. We love a good visual, don't we?
Absolutely.
And thank you again, AJ.
And hello to everybody at Gaijin Izakaya. Hello. And hello to everybody in Red Hotpot Inn.
And what's our time, Vessi?
We have just a couple minutes left before Richard from Betamax will be sharing.
Okay.
So please do just enjoy this beautiful taste, and you can have so much more. Just get in touch. Follow at Dolphin Guru AJ on Twitter, and also you can find so much more about Paul Lloyd Warner and his amazing archive of a lifetime of brilliant work that belongs in my library. Every last song, I want them all in my library.
I am sorting. All right, here we go. Hold on. And let me
also while we're doing that, if any of you go to my link tree, it's the https://linktr.ee/AJ waterfall, and that will give you many links that you can have. And so I'll put it also in the chat for any of you if you are there, and that way you can actually experience it. And it does have the music NFTs. This is Purple Mountains that we're going to experience. It's a collaboration of unique images that I put together while we were up next to this massive, huge mountain. And Mr. Warner was able to conduct and compose and write this modern about the Purple Mountain.
Stunning, stunning, so beautiful. Thank you, AJ, Paul, Lloyd Warner, so beautiful. Thank you, Coffee D'Ambrosi, for that beautiful share. And thank you to everybody in Singapore at Gaijin Izakaya, at Red Hotpot Inn in Malaysia. Hello, hello. This is Vessi Mink. There they are. Let's see what they have to say. Let's see. That's Mike Chua. I'm going to unmute BK Han. Hello. Hello, hello. I unmuted you.
Hello, hello.
Hi. Wasn't that beautiful?
Yeah, AJ.
AJ's
Just a quick
amazing.
question.
Where is he? Let's see.
Have
Let's
you,
get him back here. Okay, here he is.
AJ?
Hi.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mike,
So just a quick question. Have you considered AI generative like animation for the music that you are doing? Meaning that with music and then it creates like yeah,
Yeah,
create
we're
animation.
definitely open. We have so many different opportunities through AI. So
Mike Chua is at the helm of all of what he just shared. I am absolutely sure. So, woohoo! That's huge, huge that you asked. Yeah, right on.
yeah, we have a great opportunity through this music to have it stem and grow, because now that the music, the literary, the media, and the art has been born, we want to bring it out so that the metaverse generation can collaborate with us and create new ideas that we would have never thought of, that was way over here. That's right. We're here together as one family, and let's collaborate and have some fun.
Yeah. Great question. Isn't it magical?
Thank
The
you.
music
It's
is so
awesome.
magical.
It's awesome. So, can I just share something, AJ? Just very interestingly, I came on a very interesting project where they put like probes into leaves, and and then with the leaves they create like music. When all the different cells are like moving, and I mean somebody just told me about that and I was like really blown away. And I think the music that you are creating with nature and with it's awesome. So let nature create the music, and thank you so much for sharing. I think it's beautiful.
I love that. Let nature
Thank you.
create the music. We need
Yay.
someone to hashtag that. And Mike Chua, what is your Twitter handle?
Mike
We can do it offline.
underscore we
Okay.
yeah,
I just want to
I'll
connect
send it over.
with everyone. I want them to know where to find you.
Yeah, or put it in our private chat if you can.
We'll
If you can
do
put it in
so.
the
We'll
private-
do so. Okay, thank you, AJ. Thank you. Stick
Thank
around.
you.
Thank you, and
Thank you,
BK.
AJ. Thank you, Bessie.
Thank you, BK, for creating this space for us all. And it's growing, and it's wonderful. It's such an honor. And thank you, Vessi.
You're
Thank
an
you,
amazing storyteller and human being. At Dolphin Guru on Twitter. AJ, the one and only. Thank you. And so now we have, let's see here. Now we have the one and only, the king of denim, coming to you from Hong Kong, Richard Atkins, Betamax. Hi, Richard.
Thanks,
How are
Bessie.
you?
I'm good. Thank you, Bessie.
Good
That's
to
a
see
lovely
you.
intro.
Thank you so much for being here. I'm just going to hand the mic right over to you so we can get started. And I just wanted to say thank you on behalf of NFT Malam for joining us today. We know that you're like, a superstar. Okay, so
a little
you-
bit. I'm not too superstar yet.
So, Richard, you did say you wanted some interaction, a
I would
little
love
more
that.
interactive.
Yeah, I like to have interaction.
So, should we stay with you, Richard?
If you want to, and then I
We
can
want
have,
to do what you need.
get
We're
some-
here for
yeah.
you.
I would like to first give everybody a little intro of where my journeys come from, and then maybe when I'm going on to the blockchain and the supply chain in the blockchain, then we can talk together. What do you think?
Perfect. Let's do
Okay,
it.
so
We're spotlighting you then. Let's spotlight him and then
how
come
can
back.
we spotlight him? So we're going to come up. We want to hear you first,
Okay,
and then we'll come back in. How about that?
sounds good. Sounds really
All
good.
right, fantastic. Take it away, Rich.
Okay, guys. Firstly, thank you, BK, for asking me to do this. Hello, everybody in Singapore and in Malaysia. I've lived in Asia for the last 21 years, and I've lived in Hong Kong for 16. So I'm I've actually lived in Asia longer than I have in the UK. So I could probably say I'm nearly Asian. For those 21 years, I've worked in the denim industry. And when I'm looking at what I've just heard with AJ, and it's all beautiful of nature and sound, I've actually been working in the second dirtiest, polluted industry on the planet, which is the clothing industry, I'm afraid. We all have to wear clothes. There's not much of an excuse on that, but it's how we create the clothes and in a cleaner way. And this is where it comes to what I've been doing. So my daily job is a product developer, and what a product developer does, I get the sketches and designs from design teams from Europe and in the US. And then my job is to basically create these images in a commercial way where we can put them into bulk production. But they also have to meet international standards. And this is the part where lately I've gone deep into this sector. But first, what I've done is on that supply chain is I create the washes of jeans. So I'm a denim designer as well as a denim product developer. So my job is to create chemical recipes within the laundry processing, and using chemicals which are good and some are bad, and what AJ said about micro poly into the oceans, that's not my fault. That's what happens when you make yarn from oil, from from petrol itself. So my job is to actually make it look aged, which is probably creating a lot of the pollutant as well. But what we've been doing is in the last 5 years is cleaning up our game. And what we do is, instead of using water, we've reduced that by 80%, and we're using gas instead to actually achieve the same kind of lux as what we previously did. We had sandblasting before. We've cancelled that because that gives you emphysema if you're working on that side of the gene. And basically all these elements of what we've done in the last 100 years of creating a gene is normally bad for the environment and also bad for the people who actually make the gene. We now look at the front end of the sales, and what we can see is a lot of the garments are made with man-made fibers instead of cottons, and they can't be recycled, so to speak. When you have a mixed kind of fiber, they just land in a landfill. And obviously what AJ was saying is we're polluting the planet, and we keep doing it or doubling it every year. What the governments try to do is they give us standards. So what standards happen at the moment is we have to regulate the chemicals that we use, and not regulating how many garments we have to produce or brands selling, which is one thing we need to look at for the future. I did have a conversation yesterday about this, and it was more of maybe brands that use not so nice fibers or not so nice finishes have a higher import duty or import tax on that garment. But if it's a clean, recyclable garment, then they're actually taxed at a lower rate. So that's what's happening at the moment. The last 3 years, due to COVID, I was basically been locked down in Hong Kong. We've not been able to travel, and only about 3 or 4 weeks ago was my first trip to Pakistan since over the 3 years. And that is only because obviously in Hong Kong we've had a big lockdown on the COVID restrictions, but it also showed us that we didn't have to travel as much to do our jobs. Previously, I would be going to Vietnam, China, Pakistan, possibly 3 to 4 times a month. And that's obviously to go into the factories, to work with the teams there and make sure that the chemicals that they're using are to the standards, and also using the chemical firms that we want them to use. The problem is, a lot of the time, the factories will try to use a cheaper source. It might be an enzyme or it might be an acid, but it comes from a source that we don't know of. So when we test the garments later on, we know that this chemical has been used, but we don't know if it's been a clean way of making the chemicals. So basically, over them 3 years, our company at the time has been a big focus on digitalizing the office. So I've been involved in the design side. So on the design side, I got into Clo 3D, which is a simulation of 3D, which is basically scanning fabric into 3D fabrication and then draping it onto a garment. And then we sew up the garment. And basically what we've done in the last 12 months is create an optical illusion of the wash. And this is the part where I've gone into the supply chain and trying to link everything. So the one thing that I really felt very strongly of is all these policies and all the standards that we have to follow. Now, a lot of the standards that we have to follow for international sales, they can be easily biased and also not so transparent, even though they kind of market themselves as a transparent, traceable and sustainable way of handling the garment. Unfortunately, when you have humans involved in a supply chain, they don't 100% follow the procedure. So when I look at a pair of jeans, we have the cotton, which is grown by the farmer, and then it's gone into a ginning, and then into spinning, then into weaving the fabric, making the garment, and then washing the garment, and then obviously shipping it, and it goes into the stores. At the moment, there's several policies where we have to follow the transactions in between these. Now, they can be, I wouldn't say easily fooled or faked, but it's possible. Nobody's 100% sure of that. And this is the part where I'm looking at using blockchain as well as NFT kind of setup. So the blockchain of the supply chain, there's 2 companies at the moment that are doing an amazing job from the cotton growth. So at the moment, the marketing of cotton itself, we have 2 directions. One is pushing for organic, and then the other one is genetically modified cotton. Now, the 2 at the moment are kind of mixed up with marketing. But what we can do is, on that blockchain, is there's 2 companies called Helixer and Fiber Trace. And what these do is, once the cotton is basically grown and picked, and it goes into the ginning, and ginning is when they tear up the cotton seed and produce the fiber. they add a tracer in the DNA of the cotton. And then this DNA can be linked then into a QR code system that goes along the supply chain. And then when you have all the procedures of making the garment, we can all link it all up onto the blockchain. Now, when we're looking at the metaverse then, so what the future, what I'm trying to achieve is that we can create a very transparent, a very accountable back-end supply chain, but then on a front end of a garment to have extra assets. And this is where the NFT comes into. So what we want to achieve is that we don't have to put labels in our garments anymore for the future. For one, it's easily to be faked where that garment's made or what fibers we've actually used in it. And also, we're not sure what type of dye stuff the garments are made from. All these are accountable on when we go into recycling the product itself at a later date to circulate the actual garment. If we don't know all these factors, we can't actually recycle it. It's kind of a very tricky thing. I was always told once by a friend of mine in Shanghai, where he worked for a recycling company, and he was telling me about the pizza boxes. And when you look at a pizza box and it's got the green recycling stamp on the side, that's only there just to say that that box itself has been recycled. When they basically put a pizza into a pizza box, the oil from the pizza contaminates the cardboard, and you can't recycle that cardboard. So these are the things that we're not told about in marketing. What I would love to do is for the future that when we make the garment, and I'm using Clo3D or I use Browseware onto that side. So we have this three-dimensional garment that we have in reality as well as in the metaverse. This is a synchronized image, and this image itself becomes a VIP ticket for your garment itself. It's only linked to your garment. So in the future, when you want to recycle it, you basically earn profit when you actually recycle it with the knowing that you have the NFT in your wallet as well as that gene. You can actually then link up, and then you have a discount for the next time you buy the gene. But then also we can track that gene to be recycled again. For me, this is the part where we're using the whole supply chain on digitalization, but we're also working for the future as an asset as well. Vessi and Kathy, do you want to ask any questions at the moment? Or do you want to join me back in and we can have if there's anything that you want to go deeper into that?
Coffee?
Well, you know I do.
I know you do. It's great.
Let's see if we have any questions from Singapore. Hold, please. Singapore, do you have any questions for Richard?
Oh, BK,
we cannot hear you.
They're unmuting their mic right now. Oh.
Unmute your mic. Open your heart and unmute your mic, please.
Richard, you're extraordinary. We have the best speakers here at NFT Malam.
I love this beautiful. That we have AJ that was talking about this amazing nature, but also I saw a link when he was talking about the cassettes. Betamax was in 1975 was the consumer analog recording for cassettes. Now, having Betamax.
Richard.
Oh, sorry. Yes, BK.
No question for you. Don't worry. No question for you. Thank you.
I stood up for attention for you. I'm all ready.
He's ready.
I'll be sending you. I'll be sending you 10 A4 pages of question through email.
Sounds good. I'm in.
Fantastic. Thank you, Singapore. Let's see if AJ has any questions before I dive in. Hold, please.
Yeah, Richard, that's amazing. I was wondering why Betamax stuck in my mind.
Yeah.
In the early days,
VHS.
Paul Lloyd Warner was using the reel-to-reel. I have about almost 300 of them, of these master recordings from his piano solos
Oh,
on the
wow.
Betamax. And
Amazing. So basically, just before COVID happened, I was talking to a friend of mine who was a brand agent in London, and he sent me a file of names that he'd got as a licensee for London. And one that I saw was Betamax, but I never said anything to him. And then I basically, while everyone went to sleep in COVID and no one's working in the office, I got a friend of mine just to find out about the IP. And basically Sony had not renewed it for about 4 years. So I basically then started to buy the IP of, I think I've got America, I've got Asia, Australia, and Europe. So what I would love to do in the future is Betamax, knowing the history of it. And I know that VHS won the war, but Betamax was the very first consumer cassette standard. I want Betamax to be the first ever digital standard for the metaverse, where we show everything in transparency. So we can actually make a garment, but also everybody knows where that garment's made. And we can even link even the farmer of the cotton. It would be so interactive. It'd be brilliant. But this is my philosophy. Maybe I was going a bit mad when I bought it, but I do see the future for it.
I don't
That's
think you were
great.
going mad. I think that's a great vision. I think that
Yeah. I just see that when you talk about like the polyesters at the moment in the oceans, it's really depressing for me, because obviously I'm in the denim industry and that is a real pollutant. Well, it used to be. I still think it's marginally there as well. But when they start doing the polyester cotton mixes, this is when it gets even worse for the planet. In the 60s, we had Lycra. That's terrible. It never biodegrades.
No.
So
it take hundreds of years for it to break down in the ocean.
Yeah, and then when we look
Way
at
beyond our
clothing and they market it as, oh, this is a wonderful thing for recycling. Recycling is great, but all we're doing is prolonging it to go in a landfill. It's not helping the planet. So what we were talking about yesterday was that maybe the man-made fibers should be taxed like heavily, that you do not use virgin polyesters anymore for the future. And it's basically, we can recycle all the polyesters, no problem, but we don't make any more. If we make any more, we're suffocating the planet.
it really should be. It really should be that if you're doing something that's not good for the planet, you get an NFT karma ticket.
But I love the part where we go Web3 and we go NFT, where we can track and trace that specific garment with an NFT. And we've also looked at it where a print on a t-shirt and then linking it into the metaverse, but then the print itself can be manipulated with, it's similar to say face recognition, but it's actually print recognition on your t-shirt. So when you're in social media, or like in this conversation here, I can change the print on my t-shirt. So every 3 months you can, yeah. Every 3 months we can actually give you an update of the print, and therefore you wouldn't get rid of your t-shirt. It'd prolong the t-shirt if we can do that way in the metaverse. So we got all these funny things that we once you've got the data and we've linked it to the garment, then it's interesting for me. It's opened up this new innovation of
And the
the,
and where the shirt travels with the
well,
with
what
the
about
human.
this? What we had this amazing idea. You go into a vintage shop and you say, "Oh, look at that T-shirt in the vintage shop," and then they're selling it for a crazy amount because Mick Jagger wore it on, and they have a photograph of Mick Jagger. How do we know that T-shirt was on Mick Jagger, right? So then what we was thinking was, well, why don't we do it similar to what Facebook's done, and where if that T-shirt's linked with the print recognition and we know the NFT of that T-shirt, in the future somebody famous wore it, they can go, yes, in 2025 he wore it exactly in that spot and you owned it as an NFT.
And then even further,
Yeah,
what happened in that spot that artist wore that shirt? What great thing did they do?
Or maybe you was at the concert and you was on someone's shoulders and someone took a picture of you, but you said, oh, you know, kids, I was at this concert, and they all go, no, you weren't. And then you check out your NFT link to the T-shirt and it shows you exactly it was you.
And so wouldn't it be cool if the oceans and the fishes and all the life in the ocean had a similar imprint of, you know, visibility of who was here first? And
yeah, absolutely.
you know what I mean? Like,
So Richard,
yeah.
you know, I have a million questions for you, but we're going to save that for the podcast. So my question to you is, could you sort of summarize our final takeaway for us? I'm going to remove myself for the stream and listen. And I believe that Vessi is going to wrap it up for us in a song dedicated to you. So take about 5 minutes and just sort of summarize your talk. We've enjoyed it so much, but give us your thoughts of the current state of NFTs, art in the design field, the industry, and then give us your thoughts about the future. What's coming up next? We'd love to hear about that from you. Thanks so much.
Okay, cool. All right, guys. So my take at the moment, or should I say my conclusion at the moment of the NFTs in the market right now, is a lot of the NFTs at the moment are looking at PFPs. And PFPs, I think, may have gone to a pinnacle now, and it's dropping. The utilities are the main factors of NFTs. And if they don't have something that gives something back to the investors or to the community, I don't think the younger generation communities will actually follow. I think the transparencies of the utilities and what they can actually offer is where the future is, and that can be linked to music, to art, to anything in an artistic way or a creative way. An artistic way is the wrong way to look at it. I think it's when it's creative. So we've only got to look at the iPhone and that pinch on the screen. When they did that, that was just revolutionary. It's simple, but it's also so useful in a very simple way. I think the NFTs has to go that way. I'm hoping that the cryptocurrency does start to come back a bit more, but I also know that there's a global problems at the moment on money, and it also links into the crypto. So let's just hope in the future that we can all get balanced on the money, and then our normal currencies and the cryptocurrencies can actually have a fair place altogether. Yeah, that's all I can offer today.
and that's a lot.
I hope I hope
that's
I've
a
done
lot.
my 30 minutes, right? I hope so.
Yeah. And where can we find you?
You can
Richard.
find me on Twitter, which is sh_Braveheart.
Braveheart. Braveheart, you are, Richard.
It was Shanghai Braveheart, but then when I did the Twitter many years ago, I had to do sh_Braveheart. I'm on LinkedIn as Richard Atkins.
I love what a forward thinker you are, and I love that the fashion can travel and have a story of its own to actually provide a roadmap of where the person who wore the fashion went and what they did, and that the fashion will live on, and that it actually, even in real life as a utility, your clothing connected to the clothing in the metaverse, the unlockable being the shirt that has that technology that knows where you go, people that are okay with that, right? We're not trying to like hide where we're going. We want to show where we've been and what we've done, and the visibility and the transparency.
I always knew when I was doing fashion, everyone said, oh, the experience of being in a shop is why we sell garments. I don't want to be in a shop. I want the garments to be a part of you. And the only way we can do that is having this wonderful metaverse link where we can go digital and you can be in reality at the same time.
Yeah, recordable gear, recordablegear.com.
Yeah.
You know, cameras on shirts. You know, the fan gets filmed from the superstar on the stage.
What do you have for us, Vessi? What are you
I will
going to
tell
gift
you.
us?
Yes, I am going to gift you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Richard.
Thank you, Richard.
Stay with us. Don't leave us, Richard.
I won't.
I'm coming for you.
And everybody, thank you so much to NFT Malam Singapore, NFT Malam Malaysia. Big up to BK Han, Sean McCulley, Mike Chua, Quat, Jean, everybody all over the place. Mina, Athena, Studio Coffee, Eric, Ruler and Peace with the Music Bazaar happening live right now in Clubhouse. We're live on LinkedIn. We're live on Twitter. We're live on Facebook, on so many platforms. Thank you so much to everybody for tuning in. My name is Vessi Mink, and I am your friendly neighborhood songwriter. I just want to tell you guys that we're so happy that you are part of this community. This is your community, and we're a worldwide family. You don't have to worry about anything except your part. And I think that I would like to give a big up to Richard Atkins from Betamax today and AJ Goodwin with Paul Lloyd Warner and the beautiful waterfall music. And what a storyteller. I think I want to record this and turn it into an NFT so we could send it to everybody. And I think I know just the person who could actually turn that into an NFT. I could turn it into an NFT, but there's somebody that I would like to turn it into an NFT for me. And I think you know his name. And I think you know the Metaverse generation. One more thing, guys. On the 18th of August, please mint my NFT. There's only 100 copies of it, guys. One song from the 10 songs of an album due out next year for Digital Boom into Web3 Social. I've written almost 100 songs. The first drop is on the 18th. The second drop is on the 1st of September, and that will be 40 songs, 88 copies each, and they won't be $15 anymore. So get the one for $15 and then get the rest. Here we go. I'm just an ocean dweller. I'm swimming in the open sea. You might think I'm a nice fella, but I'm a golden girl, I'm sure you can see. Oh, fashion in the metaverse, roadmap utility, take me to the stars, take me to Mars, take me to the moon, take me to your love. I swoon. Oh, I'm a little fish in a big pond, and the big pond is filled with your love. Ooh, your love, we'll be swimming in the big sea. Oh, baby, not just me. Don't forget about you. You matter too. Your projects too. NFT, metaverse, visibility. Take hold of me. I'm just a little one. I'm just a little one. And I know coral warriors like Tegu, Arsenic, building coral replications at the bottom of the Jakarta Sea, and Jolion and Fiji with counting coral. Do you hear me? We got it going on. AJ Goodwin, Paul Lloyd Warner, and many years of waterfall music, spiritual boom. Take care of you. Richard Atkins told you today that Betamax and the denim aren't gonna put your blues away. It's your responsibility. Take heed, listen to me. I'm Bessie Ming, that's what you know. It's not just what you think. 'Cause you've got to make art together, supporting unity like the Funky Eye Puppets and IPC and the Funky Eye Puppets taught me. 'Cause you're in a metaverse generation and a fanfare. 'Cause you care, you're in a metaverse generation with the TSA NFT incubator and the metaverse homies and the Space Cadet Club with Young Lead. There's so many with New Hollywood and Mary Beth Sales in the house and Star Babies. One more time, here we go. We're just a bunch of little fish swimming in a big old sea. Don't forget about Woman-Made Gallery. Gaijin, Izakaya, Singapore restaurant in the house. The Hotpot in, Red Hotpot in Malaysia. Ooh, 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 I wanna come to your party in real life, in real life. Happy Meta Shark Spaceman, could you help me? Yeah. Thank you everybody for tuning in to NFT Malam. We love you. Don't forget to smash the follow button and just stay in touch, and we'll see you next week. We have quite a show next week, you guys. Thank you again. Ciao, ciao.